Lesson 4.5, Writing a Function Rule. Your objective for this lesson is to write equations that represent functions. So example 1, you can estimate the temperature by counting the number of chirps of the snowy tree cricket. The outdoor temperature is about 40 degrees Fahrenheit more than 1/4 the number of chirps the cricket makes in 1 minute. What is a function rule that represents this situation? So what I want you to do is take the important information out of this paragraph. So I know that the outdoor temperature is 40 degrees more than 1/4 the number of chirps the cricket makes in 1 minute. So I've underlined each different part. So we're going to take the outdoor temperature. I don't know what temperature is, so we'll call it T. It is, so that's going to be our equal sign, about 40 degrees more than plus 1/4 of it doesn't say of, but it's 1/4 of the number of chirps the cricket makes. So it's 1/4 times C. And that's your equation. So you just have to take the important words out and translate them into the symbols that they mean in algebra. Guided practice number 1, a landfill has 50,000 tons of waste in it. Each month it accumulates an average of 420 more tons of waste. What is a function rule that represents the total amount after m months? So I've got 50,000. Each month it accumulates 420 more. Pause the video, write the function rule, and resume the video when you're finished. Okay, if you've got 50,000, and then each month it accumulates 420 more, that's 420 per month. And that's going to equal your total amount, T. Or W for weight, or waste. Alright, example 2. Writing and evaluating a function rule. A concert seating plan is shown below. Reserved seating is sold out. Total revenue from ticket sales will depend on the number of general seating tickets sold. Write a function rule to represent this situation. What is the maximum possible total revenue? Right now I know that reserved seating is sold out, so I know that they have at least this much revenue. So that's going to be 25 times 10 times 12, because it's $25 per seat per row. So there's 10 rows and there's 12 seats per row. So it's going to be 25 times 120, which is 3,000. I also know that general seating is $10 per seat. There's 30 rows and there's 16 seats per row. But I do not know how many general seats are going to be sold. So my function rule is going to be total revenue, which is the word they used, is going to equal our $3,000 from the reserved seating plus whatever we make from the general seating, which I know how many rows and how many seats per row, but I don't know how many have sold. So I'm going to have to do 10 times the number of seats sold. That's my function rule. Then they ask, what is the maximum possible total revenue? That's where we use this information, the 30 rows and the 16 seats per row. So we're going to do 30 times 16 to figure out how many seats that is. It's 480. So my maximum revenue is going to be, if I sold all of my general seating as well as my reserve seating, so it's going to be 480 seats. And then you just evaluate that right-hand side of the function, and you get $7,800. So my maximum revenue would be $7,800. My function rule would be 3,000 plus 10N, and the function rule is going to work no matter how many seats I sell, and the maximum revenue is just if I sell out of seats. Guided practice number 2, a kennel charges $15 per day to board dogs. Upon arrival, each dog must have a flea bath that costs $12. Write a function rule for the total cost for N days of boarding plus a bath. How much does a 10-day stay cost? Is the cost of a 5-day stay half as much as a 10-day stay? Pause the video and answer this question, and then resume the video when you're finished. Okay, the function rule for this would be $15 per day plus the $12 bath equals my total cost. The 10-day stay is where you would replace 10 or D with 10, and you evaluate that and you get $162. The next question says, is the cost of a 5-day stay half as much as a 10-day stay? You would think it would be because you're staying half as many days, but you cannot forget that you have to pay for a $12 bath regardless of how many days you stay. So, no, because of the $12 bath, it is not half as much. The fact that it is half as many days only halves the cost per day. It does not half the bath cost. Example 3, a nonlinear function rule. Nonlinear functions are always going to be a little bit more difficult for you than the linear functions. Write a function rule for the area of a rectangle whose length is 5 feet more than its width. What is the area of the rectangle when its width is 9 feet? So the area of a rectangle is length times width. I'm going to write the function rule whose length is 5 feet more than its width. So length is 5 plus W. So we're going to write, instead of length, we're going to put in 5 plus W, and then we're going to leave W like it is. Then we're going to distribute the W, and we get area equals 5W plus W squared. And that's going to be my function rule. Then they asked, what is the area of a rectangle when its width is 9 feet? So when it's 9 feet for the width, you're going to replace the W with a 9. And you're going to say A equals 5 times 9 plus 9 squared, which is 45 plus 81, which is 126 feet squared because it's area. So I have two answers here. First, my function rule, and then I answer the second question. Always make sure you answer every question in the problem. Guided practice number 3. Write a function rule for the area of a triangle whose height is 4 inches more than twice the length of its base. So the area of a triangle is going to be 1/2 BH, 1/2 base times height. And this says that its height is 4 inches more than twice the length of its base. So a height is going to be 4 plus 2b. So rather than h, you're going to put b, and then you're going to put 4 plus 2b. Then you evaluate that, so you are going to distribute the 1/2 b. 1/2 of 4 is going to be 2, so that's 2b. 1/2 of 2 is 1, and b times b is b squared. So it's 2b plus b squared. Second question, what is the area of a triangle with the length of its base is 16 inches? So this is going to be 2 times 16 plus 16 squared, which is 32 plus 256, and that's 288. Two questions gets 2 answers. Okay, this is where you show what you know. Pause the video, do these 3 questions on your own. Make sure you do know how to do them, because when you come in class tomorrow, you're going to take a quiz rather than turning in your homework. There's too much cheating going on, so I'm going to try to manage it by giving you a quiz for understanding rather than the homework questions. But you still have to do these 3 questions and bring them in for homework tomorrow, and you can use them to answer your quiz questions.